Hi there, Kevin from Microbes Solutions. We're going to be talking today about cleaning, disinfecting, sanitizing. A lot of these terms, obviously, we're hearing more and more during this pandemic. And what we want to do is actually we want to give a number to our cleaning attempts or disinfecting attempts today. And the way we're going to do that is with what's called an ATP tester. So I won't get into the mechanics of how one of these works, but essentially, um, a swab is used to pick up contaminants on the surface, dropped in here, and essentially this thing is going to give us a number. Now, the number correlates to what could be perceived as a pass or a fail. What I mean by that is, let's just say we take a hospital environment. So if we give the public space, which obviously is quite a bit harder to control than, say, an ICU operating room, that sort of thing, that would actually get a 50, would be an acceptable number. Now, that's not a pass as far as the disinfection goes, but again, it's an uncontrolled environment, so we wouldn't expect that to be continually passing as a disinfected area. So now we get into food service, that'd be a 10. Okay, so like a food prep area, you'd have to be a 10 or lower. Sterile services, again, 10 or lower. NICU nursery, you'd probably think, okay, well I think that would be a 10. That's actually a 25. Same with labor delivery, 25. ICU, 10. Operating room, 10. Patient room, 25. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to take a couple random items here. I have my work boot, which is pretty nasty. I'd have a nice piece of gum on there, actually a couple pieces of gum, and who knows what else. I have what may be disturbingly revealing, one of my cotton masks, which I've worn 2, maybe 3 times, kind of gross. And then we're going to do my laptop. So what we're going to do with the laptop is, I got that divided into 4 areas. What we're going to do with that, we're going to do a clean only, we're going to do a sanitize, we're going to do disinfect only, and we're going to do clean and disinfect. So we're going to start by getting a reading, a number off the bottom of this boot. So it hasn't been cleaned ever, I don't think. So just to give us, kind of an idea, a gauge as to what we would expect on different types of surfaces. So we'll just get this guy on here. He'll take a second to calibrate. And while that's calibrating, we will take a swab and get across that nasty gum. And we'll just kind of go across the bottom of the boot here. And then we will put this in. And we got to crack this guy both ways. Get all that liquid in there. I'm going to shake this thing for 10 or 15 seconds. And then we'll drop that in the meter here and see what kind of a reading. Now I'm going to guess we might be somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 on this, which is a horrible, horrible reading. But we'll see what we get. Okay, so again, calibrating, counting down here. May make a liar out of me, but let's see what we get here. And the number is, oh wow, okay. So 602, so it's, I wouldn't eat off of it, but a lot better than I expected. All right, so let's get rid of this guy. And we will go to this mask. So this has definitely been worn a couple times. So again, take our swab. We'll get all on the inside here. You can see it's not that dirty or anything, but definitely been worn 2 or 3 times. So drop that back in here. Give that a crack. Make sure that fluid gets down. So same drill over here. Okay, now that one there, I would expect, I don't know, maybe around a 200, 250, something like that. I might be shocked to see the number, but let's see what we got. So we're gonna jump onto the laptop, which I'm really looking forward actually to show you guys the results of cleaning and disinfecting, and oh, not bad, actually 170. So I'd say it's not terrible. 170 is not bad actually. I mean, it's right against my face. I wouldn't. Anyways, okay. So what we'll do now, I'll be honest, ideally what we would do is do a test first on each of these surfaces and then obviously do the procedure. But you know, we're waiting like 30 seconds, whatever, between each of those. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna swab all of this together. We'll get a reading, and then we'll go through the scope after that. We'll open a new swab, and we'll go across all these surfaces. And we'll see what we get. All right. So we do our crack both ways. So you want to make sure, basically, you want to get this fluid all the way down to your swab. And I'm all dirty from my boot here. Shake that for 10 or 15 seconds. And we shall see. So before any cleaning, any sanitizing, any disinfecting, we'll see what we get here. So the countdown is on. And I'm definitely expecting in the 400 or 500s on this guy. Oh, wow. Okay. Not bad. 169. So we have our starting point essentially. So what we'll do, I'll just get this guy out of here. So we are going to do what I have here actually, just because you can't see it. So this is microfiber towel, clean obviously. And all I have here is warm water and Dawn dish soap. That's all I'm using. So we'll give this a ring. Now before I forget, I want to show you guys something here. So when we're cleaning, or at least when we're cleaning properly, take one of these microfiber towels, fold it again. Okay, you now have, wow, there's a big hair on that. Okay, so obviously not one of mine. You now have 4 surfaces, all right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we don't want to do, and what we see all the time, and I'm not picking on anybody, it's just a reality. How many times have you gone into a retail space and the shopping carts are being cleaned, sanitized, what have you, and the individual who's looking after the cleaning has a cloth, they clean one, they clean another one, and so on, so on, so on. All with the same side of the cloth, or even if they're flipping the cloths, they're, you know, using this for however amount of time of their shift. And you know, when we're doing a proper cleaning, we'll take this for example. So let's call this 4 surfaces. So if I'm cleaning here. So this is going to be our, we'll make this our clean only section. Okay, so I'm going to go up to our sanitize section. So we actually want to, I'm trying to do this without touching it on another surface. So we actually want to flip that to a new surface. Okay, so we're going to leave this one because that's our sanitize only. And we're going to clean this surface. All right. So we have two surfaces that we come into contact with here. Now, I'm trying to remember what I'm doing with what surface. Okay, so we have the ACEs here, if you could see that. Okay, so if we keep ACEs the right side up, what we're going to do, I'm going to write this down actually, hang on. So we got ACEs in the middle. So we're going to do clean. Oops. Wow. Come on, Kevin. We're going to do clean. We're going to do sanitize. Sanitize. Wow, I really can't write under pressure here. We're going to do disinfect. Here, I'll just abbreviate that. Disinfect only, and we're going to do clean and disinfect. So it's the areas are basically split up like this. Sorry, that's terrible drawing, but hopefully that makes sense. All right, so if we go to, so here we have some sanitizer. So you may kind of look at this and go, okay, well, that's not really fair the way you're doing it, because basically you took the sanitizer, you put it on your hands, and then you didn't even wipe it off. But if you think about how we use sanitizer, what do? We rub it on with our hands, we let it dry. So we're essentially going to replicate that on the laptop. So going by my diagram here, we're going to sanitize here. Okay, just give me a sec here. Okay, this is a brand new, so we will just go like this. So we got a good amount of sanitizer there, and you should be using a good amount. If sanitizer is your only option, that actually fell off. Let's try that again. If sanitizer is your only option, you should be, don't be sparing with it. You should be using a fair amount. So we got the sanitizer on there. We'll let that dry up. So we're gonna apply disinfectant. So this is the area that's been cleaned. This is going to be disinfect only. So I want to cover this without actually touching the, here's what we'll do. So I'll try and keep this on the one side here. So what we'll do, we're going to let that sit for a couple minutes. And there's you can see a little bit got on this one. So when we swab this, we'll keep it over to this section here. So we'll let this sit for a couple minutes. Something we kind of don't talk a lot about is dwell time when it comes to disinfectants. Now, you know, kind of going back to, you know, the retail space, shopping carts, the cash registers, what have you. You know, you see they're being cleaned in between customers coming through. However, the product that's being used has absolutely no dwell time. That area is wiped down and it's boom, next customer. So the disinfectant, if they're using a disinfectant, has no dwell time, doesn't have the ability to do what it's made to do, because it actually takes time for that thing to attack the microbes. and eradicate viruses, any microbes, what have you. So there is a time component to disinfectants. So probably hasn't been quite enough time, to be honest here, but I'm going to wipe this down. I'm going to wipe it off completely. I'm going to give it a chance to dry on its own there. And then, so what we'll do in the meantime is we're going to take readings from these other two areas. And let's make sure we got good swabs here this time. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to pull up a chair here. Just so you can see I'm not cheating. Why would I do that anyways? I don't know. What's wrong with you guys? Okay, so, all right, now the good stuff begins. So we hop in here. We will do our clean only first. So I'll pull this over. Okay, there we go. So clean only, and we got the aces there. Okay, so clean only section, here we go. All right, you know the drill. By this point, we drop that guy in here. Crack-a-lacka. Get the fluid down there. Give him a little shake. All right. So let's see what we get on clean only. So in terms of, we talk about cleaning, sanitizing, disinfecting. Sanitizing gets a little bit confusing because, here we go. So cleaning only, we're actually down to a 50. So if we go back to here, you can see how if these areas, public areas, are properly cleaned, you can get that down to exactly where it needs to be. Now, obviously, it just happened to fall out of 50. I was pretty fortunate there, but it gives you an idea of how just a good cleaning can actually lower the bacteria count or the bio load that's on that surface. So let's jump to okay. We will go to sanitize only. Okay, this is actually one, the sanitize only and the disinfect only, actually I'm looking, quite looking forward to see what the numbers are. All right, give that a snap. So if you want to look up these, exactly how these ATP meters work, just go ahead and Google ATP meters, and they are commonly used for the food industry, hospitals, that sort of thing. They're not the only means of testing, but they are a reliable and consistent means of testing. Okay, so we're doing the countdown here. And this is for the sanitize only section. So let's see what we get here. That's a terrible number. Wow. Okay, 397. So that's actually higher than when we started. So I'm not actually going to try and explain why that is the way it is. But that's a terrible number. Anyways, so let's put that here. So obviously we are not in a controlled environment, and nor do we want to be. We actually want to do some real life testing here. So let's go to disinfect only. Okay, give that a crack. So I am actually, I'm quite intrigued that that gave us such a high number. Now, it may have had something to do with the bacteria that was on my hands, adding to it, I don't know. What I actually wasn't, oh, you know what, though, I did handle that boot, so perhaps that, that contributed. All right. So we drop that guy in. And we do the countdown. So we are on to the disinfect only section. So let's see what we get. I suspect that we're going to be, well, obviously better than the sanitize only section. So we actually got a 46. So disinfecting only, we are not much better than cleaning only. Now, in terms of disinfecting, so if we are to disinfect, truly disinfect a surface, if we don't clean that surface, we cannot disinfect it. You can apply a disinfectant, as you can see, and we brought down the bio load or the bacterial count, but we're nowhere near what we would need to be if we're actually scrutinized and given a number, as we say. So we got a 46 on the, oh, sorry. So I'll just backtrack there a little bit. So during this current climate, we've kind of thrown out that that phrase disinfecting. Unfortunately, now that it's most important to be carrying, following protocol, that sort of thing, we've dropped cleaning and disinfecting. Well, as long as I can remember, we never used the term really disinfecting on its own. It was always, okay, we're going to clean and disinfect that surface. We got to clean and disinfect that surface. We never just said disinfect something because you can't. So there's a couple products. I'll backtrack again. There are a couple products that are cleaners and disinfectors or disinfectants. Now, if you've got a heavily soiled surface, you'd probably want to stay away from that and do a clean and then a disinfect. On a surface like my laptop, that would actually work quite well because we're starting with a number like whatever it was, 167, and it's not a lot for that product to be able to reduce it down to an acceptable level. So we had that 46. So we're on to our last one here, which is clean and disinfect. So let's just see what we get here, shall we? All right, so the moment we've all been waiting for, or I've been waiting for, I don't know about you. So let's make sure we get the right spot here. So clean and disinfect. So remembering that our good number is 30 or below. So the disinfectant I use there, and I'm not promoting anything or whatever, but I figure the question will come up. So that was Benefect. So that's a completely natural product. Main ingredient is actually thyme. And we are going to, oh no, that's another used swab there, sorry. Okay, let's retest that. My bad. I'm going to try and go where I haven't gone. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's cracked too. Okay. So we got a couple of used ones in there. Not ideal. One more time. All right, drop that in. Okay, there we go. So last but not least, clean and disinfect. And hopefully we haven't messed that up too much with introducing that liquid. Anyways, let's see what we get. So clean and disinfect gives us all right, so the countdown is on. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. Hopefully I didn't babble too much. I can do that. I shouldn't do that, but I do that. So we got, there we go. Look at that, 19. So that is well within what would be considered a pass for a clean and disinfect. So I hope that helps. I hope it kind of gives you some clarity on what I really wanted to do. Obviously, you guys aren't going to have these things at home unless you work in an industry whereby you'd have the means to get your hands on one of these. But essentially, it's to instill some confidence in you guys that if you clean things properly, if you follow instructions in regards to the disinfectant itself, you know, just the following of the instructions is going to give you the result. Again, you can't, you can't quantify it with a tester, but just showing you here, okay, you know what, I did this under these conditions. When I did this, this was my outcome. So would I use Dawn dish soap for cleaning most surfaces? Yeah, absolutely. And I know there's all kinds of other cleaners out there, but basically what do you want to do? You want to get rid of or reduce the bacterial load. Well, proper cleaning does that. And again, don't take your microfiber cloth, clean a surface, and then go to another surface, use the same side, flip it, go to a new surface. So what are you doing? If you're picking something up over here, you're moving it to the next surface. If you got a big surface to clean, go to different sides of that cloth, but don't reuse anything you've already used. Because what you can do is just transfer it. Now you could actually be moving the bacterial load along a surface. You got a great big table, you start cleaning it, you never flip your cloth. Well, what's happening? You start over here, you've cleaned this, and you've picked up all this stuff, but at some point, the soap that's on that towel is, if you think of it as a garbage can, okay, your soap, it can only attract so much soil. Once it's attract as much soil as it can, what's it going to do? It's going to start unloading it or dumping it off. So you're cleaning your table, you get to a certain point, now all you're doing is moving that soil along the table. So you want to keep a clean surface on your towel. What you don't want to do, let's say you have I just got this little bowl here with some Dawn dish soap. What you don't want to do is then take that towel you've been using and dunk it back in that bucket. Once you're done with that towel, you throw it in a bag, throw it in a bucket. Don't use it again until it's washed. Take a clean towel, put it in there. You can even have them sitting in there ready to go, 2 or 3 or whatever you're trying to do. If you're doing your house or something, you might have 3 or 4 of those in there. But going out and buying all these different cleaners and everything, Dawn dish soap is a cleaner. It cuts grease. We know that because we use it in our dish pan. You don't need really anything stronger than that. It's a great product. And sorry, I'm not trying to promote Dawn dish soap. I happen to be using it for this little chat. So anyhow, thanks for checking us out. I hope I didn't ramble on. I hope I held your attention. And if there's any questions, anything you can or I can help you with, feel free to drop those questions in there, and hopefully we can be an assistance, and hopefully this made some sense to you. All right, again, Kevin from Microbes Solutions, and thanks for joining us.